Cancer. It's a new moon in Cancer, and this is a time to go within. This is a time to be receptive, to return home, Cancer, to check in with yourself, to see how you're feeling, how the energies are moving. This is gonna be a great one, Cancer. Lovely lunar cycle coming up, and we're getting actually this is a big one because this lunar cycle we're going to have the lunar cycle kind of correct itself now that we've had this. We're getting ready to come on our second full moon later in the couple weeks, but stick around to find out how we can work with all these energies, Cancer. As you can see, I'm already swimming in it. But for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just magical, Cancer. And it keeps us intuitive. Just keeps us emotional, Cancer. Keeps us just growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and know that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. And this is also for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And even if you just syncing up with the moon, we all have Cancer in our chart. And I do tarot card spreads based of our ruler here, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going void of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what fits into your situation, discard the rest, Cancer, and everything will be dope. I'm decided if I'm going to keep that. Now, let's jump into it. We're about to really get into it, Cancer, because it's that time. It's chart time. It's chart time. Okay, enough of that. But Cancer, depending on when you're watching this, just so if you're new to the channel, what I like to do around every major phase of the lunar cycle, that's the new moon, the first quarter, the full moon, and the last quarter, I like to pull up the chart just so you can have a visual to work with, see how the relationship changes with the moon and the sun, and get familiar with the glyphs so that you can find this out in your own chart if you happen to be doing stuff on the go, whatever that's looking like. So hopefully you find this little segment useful. And if you want to skip through this stuff, I do have, and want to get to the reading, I actually have just links down in the description box below for that as well. So, but before we get into this thing, depending on when you're watching this, happy Jupiter Day, and happy 4th if you are in the U.S. Woo! Or something. Actually, sidebar, I was doing a meditation. I got really into it, and the fireworks scared the hell out of me. It was a whole thing. I hate no one saw that. But happy Jupiter Day. Jupiter is associated with Thursdays. This is a time for great enthusiasm. Jupiter's a very, very jolly energy. So I feel this is a time, even if this is not a major holiday where you're at, just bringing some optimism, bringing some joy. There's life promises a new adventure with Jupiter. There's no limit to how we can expand in this journey. By a sidebar, and I'm excited when Jupiter gets into Cancer next year, but Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So I love that this is a Jupiter day. The moon's very supportive today. But this is also a great day too for expanding your knowledge, for sharing knowledge, for anything that deals with that energy of growth and higher learning. This could be, yes, really, really wonderful energy for that. But I will say, with Jupiter being in Gemini, just be mindful about spreading yourself too thin. You don't want to be too scattered. But before we talk about the chart, the moon is going to be entering into Cancer at about 1:51 p.m. and that'll be Pacific time. And she's going to be entering into, and I'll get into the new mate food. I'll be able to talk in a minute. But with the moon being in Cancer, the moon is at home in Cancer. She's domiciled in Cancer. And so that just means her energy is the strongest here. And so you may notice that this is a more emotional time for everyone. This is a time where you allow yourself to feel what comes up for you. This is a time where I feel like, we're in a... I was listening to someone the other day, and if you look at the Cancer glyph, it's people were always like, oh, it's the 69. It's like, no, it's deeper than that. I heard someone say it's the circles on the sign are meant to represent suns, and then the tails are like moons, and it's the solar energy in motion, because Cancer is a cardinal water sign. And when you think about it, the sun and the moon have a very special relationship. The sun is the vitality, and the moon distributes that light, and it really helps us process those energies, beneath the surface. And so this can be a very intuitive time, Cancer. Cancer is related to the home, but it's deeper than just, coming from your mom. This is coming from like that universal mother. This is really digging into. Cancer has a really unique connection with source. I've heard even some people say that Cancer is the most intuitive sign. I don't like to think that it's a competition or anything, but it is something to note with Cancer that you're thinking about, when you're associated with home, the moon, all this. It's something to marvel at when you allow yourself to feel on a deeper level, to understand the ebbs and flows of who you are and how those cycles work. And so this moon really allows you to tune into yourself. And I feel like especially during this lunar cycle, because now, like I was saying, we're in a spot where the lunar cycle is resetting itself. So now things will be falling naturally, whereas opposed to, what usually it's like the sun enters into a new sign, and then we have the new moon, and then later on we have the full moon. But it's been where, these previous times where it's like we've entered moon and, the sun enters Aries, and then we have a full moon, right off the bat in Libra. And it's just like, whoa, wait a minute. And so now really kind of pay attention to, I feel like you coming back into rhythm. This is really, really kind of tune in. This is some real subtle energies, I feel. So if you can find some space in between this period of time to go within, listen to some music, whatever that's looking like, get into some art, some meditation, a good book. This is the time for that. Now, let's get into the chart, because I can stay in that energy all day. Let's get into the chart, because the new moon is going to be happening on July 5th, just on July 5th, and that'll be on a Venus day. That's on Friday, and that's going to be happening at 3:57 p.m. And as you can see here, as it happens every month, I'll go and circle these two here. They're the sun and the moon all snuggled up together. The new moon is when the sun and the moon are conjunct one another. And the conjunction, depending on the orb that you're working with, is within, I like to work within 3 degrees. So, but it's when the new moon specifically is when the sun and the moon are exact. So to the degree and to the minute. And this is going to be happening at 14 degrees and 23 minutes of Cancer. So you want to look at where you have Cancer in your chart, and this is the area in your chart where you want to really kind of tune into yourself, really kind of, how are you feeling about this area of your life, and listen to what you need to kind of fill up your cups. What are some new seeds that are wanting to sprout? This is again a really great time to cue into source. The new moon this is not necessarily the intention setting time. This is just to feeling the sense of opportunities here. This is the time of limitless possibilities. You can plant what you desire in this. So you want to be very intentional when you're working with this. So I like to do, before I start really setting any intentions, but especially for this one, I just kind of just listen. What is my body naturally doing? This last lunar cycle in Gemini, I started to wake up without my alarm. I shifted to doing like these digital detoxes during the day and in the evening, and these just sort of just happened. And it's been so like, it's when you're thinking about the new moons, it's working with that sign's energy. So where it was Gemini, I was just like, what are some things? I was asking questions for myself. This one, I'm just kind of feeling what's happening. And so that's what I invite you to do. See what comes up for you in this moon. And if you have any points in Cancer, this one is going to be working with you, we're going to be working with you more intensely. Well, not intensely, but you'll feel it more. Because I'll tell you what, this is happening. My sun sign is actually at 15 degrees of Cancer. So this new moon is really working closely with my sun sign, and even within, it's a little bit of a wide orb, but it's even within my south node as well. So it's been cool, Cancer. And it's happening in my 12th house, so there's some, I've been going off into space. But this is a very cool chart that's happening here, because one thing I want to some conversations I want to bring to your attention here. On the day of this new moon, Saturn and Mars are having a conversation with one another, and there you see they're within an almost exact of one another. Mars is just like 7 minutes outside of a sextile here. And the sextiles create opportunities. They can, in between, when we're thinking about Mars and Taurus, this I feel is like an opportunity to build something long lasting. Put your energy towards something. This could be towards a business. This could be towards maybe you're wanting to have more, be able to regulate more. Maybe you want to, as far as like grounding your emotions, maybe you're wanting to be less codependent and be more interdependent in relationships. Maybe you're wanting to, whatever this case may be. I feel that Saturn here is showing you not just where something doesn't work, but how to fix it. It's bringing something to your awareness that this isn't feeling right anymore. This isn't, with the Saturn being retrograde, this is a time to just like kind of look at, where can I maybe get out of something here that's no longer resonating with me anymore, that no longer is filling up my cups. And that's going to be something important, because you know what? Before I move on to the next conversation, that's actually a nice segue to talk about. One thing I like talking about especially when we have conjunctions around the new moon, I like to talk about the Sabian symbols that there. And I think I'm going to start talking about them at where the moon is at. And I think I may start incorporating those a little more because they're very fascinating. But the Sabian symbols, if you're curious about this, there's a link down in the description box with the website. And there's a whole book about the whole subject. It's very, very fascinating. It adds a layer of nuance to it. So I would say for those of you, if you having water placements, if you have your Mercury in like water placements, or I'd even say like a Mercury in Leo, Mercury in Libra, Mercury in, maybe even Mercury in Aquarius, I would even say, if anything, it would challenge the Mercury in Aquarius, give them something new to think about. But it's basically, it gives each of the 360 degrees in the zodiac wheel, there's a meaning behind them. And so this one, for the 14 degrees of Cancer, you actually round up to the next degree because there's no zero in the Sabian symbols. So this is phase 105 of Cancer. And it states, in a sumptuous dining hall, guests relax after partaking of a huge banquet. And the keynote for this is the need that exists at an early stage of human growth to materialize the concept of fulfillment. And so that's where I say, if you haven't been feeling full with what you're doing, or maybe maybe you're overly full and you've been doing all this stuff, but then you go to check and it's just like, ew, this is kind of gross. They like, how if you've ever had like something like maybe really greasy, for example, you go to like, it sounded great on the menu, you go to dig in, and it's just like afterwards it's just like, you know what, now it's just kind of sitting like a brick in my stomach. That's something to pay attention to, because Cancer is associated with the stomach. I've been doing a lot more, getting into like medical astrology and things. Oh my gosh, I'm going to include a book too. There's this book by Judith Hill, Cancer Placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, really Cancer Placements. Check this out. It is so fascinating, the things that she talks about. It's unreal. And these are the things that and I would invite you to learn about. Some of the stuff by Judith Hill, has even got me thinking about Cancerian energy in a much deeper way than I had even been approaching it. And I've really kind of been appreciating that. We're a dope sign, Cancer. Cancer is a lot cooler than it's been let off to be. And so we're really going to raise that vibration. And starting with that, it's looking at things that, again, fulfill you with this Sabian symbol. That's what I feel this new moon is thinking about. We all deserve to be full, and there's so much abundance here for us, but there's been this narrative that has, I feel like, been saying otherwise. And this could be where you can get it from society. This could be from your upbringing. Look at the source of this stuff. Cancer also is associated with our memories, the things that have been imprinted on us. In Gemini, we're just talking away, we're learning stuff. But now Cancer, we're reflecting on the things that have been said to us that we've experienced. And sometimes some things felt great and some things really felt awful. And it's just like, what is that? How can you move that so you can make space to feel full again, so that we can move this stuff? So that's where I feel like this Sabian symbol just adds this layer of richness here. This is not about... And this, I feel, too, we can even take it a bit broader. I'm thinking just like as a soul tribe, as a soul family. I know we have our groups that we just inherently think about, but I'm thinking even just like, because Cancer is a very compassionate sign. Like a lot of that, Pisces may have, like, of course, they're associated with a bit more, and they do, but Cancer has that level of compassion. There's a lot of overlap with Cancer and Pisces. And I feel that compassion aspect is one of them. And I'm thinking about this too, this idea of, we all are trying to, of course, grow ourselves, but it's not just about us. There are other people in this journey too. And I feel that there's this... there's just something here about bringing more abundance into the mix here, or like spreading that, coming with a bigger idea. Because let me get back to the chart here, Cancer, because one thing else I wanted to point out here is, first, we have another sextile here. Oh, that looks like it's going to Mars. Hold on, let me draw that a little bit better. We have another sextile here between Venus and Uranus. And I feel that this could be an invitation for a value change, where and not necessarily that you decide to just like quit your job and maybe join the Peace Corps and maybe become a, like something along those lines, but maybe you're wanting to do more for your community, possibly. Maybe you're wanting to... Who knows? Like, I feel like there's something here that's wanting to be explored when we're thinking about Venus in Cancer, with Venus in Cancer and this Uranus and Taurus, because there's something here that, not even just, I feel like, in dealing with people, but this could be even an invitation to change a relationship with a certain emotion, or maybe with a certain memory behind a certain emotion. Maybe you have I'm thinking like maybe you had a teacher maybe who told you couldn't do something, and there's been that narrative that's been going on, or maybe there's been parent, or maybe there was a sibling, or maybe there was something here like this. I feel like this idea of maybe a belief shift, or this Uranus and Taurus is looking at not just destroying a foundation. You need that foundation, but I feel like it wants to build on top of things, and it wants to look at what's preventing that thing from building, that thing from evolving here. So this could be a chance to move some stuck emotions, move some sort of areas where we got stagnant. Because I want to bring to your attention too, at the same time, Venus is kind of busy in this. You have here, Venus is forming a square with Chiron. And now squares are where you feel tension, and where it's an opportunity for action to address something here. And I like when Chiron is in Aries, because this really gives us this energy of movement, where Venus is understanding in Cancer what's going on within, and then Chiron gives us a chance at Aries to unlock that and move it out of us. It's that Venus in Cancer I like how there's this, we think about this feminine energy, but I like to think of it too, that centripetal as opposed to centrifugal, that receptive as opposed to assertive, that outward motion. So I feel that there can be a lot of movement here during this lunar cycle, as far as like moving through some old memories, moving through some, maybe even moving towards, new passions, moving towards whatever this may be for you. So that's the beautiful thing. And let me see, I want to make sure there wasn't anything else that I wanted to talk about. I think that's it, Cancer. Let me get this adjusted here, and then let's switch over to the tarot. But yes, this is a really, really lovely lunar cycle to just listen to some music around, and just to have some really cool vibes to really get into just that Zen space, Cancer. This would be, I would even invite you to maybe do some rearranging around your space, possibly, if you've been feeling like things have been feeling stuck. Sometimes just doing some rearranging or even doing just a cleansing of your space, as far as like maybe literally going through, doing like a sound cleansing, maybe doing a saging, maybe you're just doing, we're just getting a spray bottle and a rag and just, things just need to get cleaned up. But this is the time to get some energies moving, and I feel that, and just to feel at peace and to really get some good vibes going through there, get some affirmations coming through there, Cancer. And lovely. If your moon, one thing I've been wanting to do with each of these phases is talk about, if you have your moon in Cancer, this is a powerful placement for the moon. You are probably more in tune with what's going on with the scenarios. Cancer moon, I feel like Cancer energy knows how to read the room, but I feel like Cancer moon in particular, it's just really attuned to what's going on in its surroundings. And so this is something where making sure to, again, to find yourself some time to maybe listen to some music, possibly, listen to some jazz, or listen to something that just raises your vibration. I feel like that's very important. Music plays a very strong role, I feel, in Cancer, and where I don't think you want to avoid things. I feel like paying attention to your taste in music can be a great signifier of what's going on within. If there's anything that's confusing, if you're noticing you're being attracted to something, and pay attention to even certain lyrics. Possibly songs get stuck in my head aggressively. Like you could play just like it for a second, and I'll have it in my head, and it's impossible. Like it takes a whole process to get it out. But also too, I feel that making sure that you have this wonderful, that your home space is feeling comfortable, that you feel safe within you. This is a very lovely place for me. I actually I know someone a couple people who have this like Capricorn Sun Cancer Moon combos, but usually that can indicate a nice relationship with the mom, depending on how that's been aspected, of course. But this is a very intuitive placement, a very creative placement, I feel like, as well. So explore dance, any sort of like art, anything that just evokes emotions. It can help you really even just kind of, again, process. You're more in tune to your inner world and that connection to source than you think. So that can even be an invitation for tarot, for even doing like astrology, even something along those lines, something spiritual, maybe even doing some sort of like Reiki. Cancer is great healers. So maybe even working with like herbs, even something along those lines. That's a wonderful thing too, I would say, for if you have Cancerian energy in your placements, to work with that. But something with the moon in Cancer too to kind of pay attention to, and just take this as it resonates. I remember reading somewhere about water retention and making sure to get fluids moving. Cancer is like associated with like the lymphatic system, and there is not medical advice, Cancer, but just a little something I personally work with. I like working with different seaweeds, and I've been working with seaweeds since I've been doing it about, so almost like about 10 years. And I've got this little mix here that's really fantastic. And again, not medical advice, but something to do some research into. I'll blend like Irish sea moss and bladderwhack and some elderberries. And I just made this, and it turned out delicious. This tea that I'm making, and I just make these little ice cubes, and they're so sustainable, and it just really helps keep stuff moving. If you find yourself like congested and things like that, be mindful of heavy like dairy and things along those lines. So just a little fun facts there for you. Now, hopefully one thing too that I wanted to incorporate into this lunar cycle as well is, I always like to talk about the void of course period of time, but sometimes these void of courses can be so short, like the one that's going to be happening on Saturday. It can just kind of pass you by. So what I ended up doing was I invite you to set aside some personal time. The moon we have a total of 49 hours and 25 minutes of void of course time during this lunar cycle. So what I invite you to do is take time to void of course, however you need to do this. The goal is to hit 49 hours. And I feel like that's not a lot to ask. 2 days total out of 28 days. I feel like that's not too much to ask. But this could be a really great marker. Really see like, oh, am I taking enough time for myself? Oh, can I free up more time here? Like however that may be looking. But I'm thinking void of course time can include meditation. This could include coloring, like doing something that gets you in that flow state. This could be taking a nap. This could be spending some mindful time with your loved ones. I mean, like putting phones aside, maybe doing like a game night, or if you're going to do something like with the tech, like, bringing some tech in, video game night. I think that's really cool. Bring in some like, whatever, family game that you all like to play together. I remember my sister and we would always get together when she would come over and stay over. We would play Mario Kart pretty much all. We would play Mario Kart like all the time. that was our jam. And so doing some things like that, that's void of course time. Playing with the kids, that's void. Going with the park, set it like, it can look however you want, but just making sure that you're setting aside some time and that you're logging this stuff in. And I'll keep you tabbed in as far as like how much time I'm taking as well, how much I've gotten down. And so hopefully you enjoy this. Like this could be a fun way, but I would pay attention to the void of courses just kind of on the off chance, just like, especially when we have longer ones. Because let me get into that, because the void of course is going to be happening on the 6th of July. That'll be on a Saturday. That's Saturday. And it'll be happening between 8:47 p.m. and 8:55 p.m. And that's Pacific time. And usually this is an energy where the moon just kind of roams the void. This is where she's processing everything that's happened while she was in Cancer, and it's becoming a memory. It's a time of self-reflection. It's not really a time to start up things, but it's a time to wrap things up because we're getting ready to get into a new chapter. Your focus is going to shift. And so the void, of course, can be really great for doing some deep breathing, some meditation. I feel like if you're in that time zone where it's falling in the evening, this would be really great for maybe doing some light reading or maybe doing some journaling before you go to bed. That's actually something I started to do towards the evening too. I have a Gemini moon, so it's like it's kind of nice to be able to get those thoughts out. And I've been enjoying writing a bit more than I had expected to. I just like slowing down is the issue. But I bring that up to say because the aspect that she forms, or that last aspect she forms, usually flavors that void of course energy, and she's forming a trine with Neptune. And, Neptune's retrograde right now. And I feel that especially, I'm kind of looking over how many times she's going to be talking with Neptune. She's going to be talking with Neptune quite a bit, especially when she's in water and in earth signs. And these energies with Neptune, this is really the kind of, we're integrating the last little bit of wisdom that Neptune has for us while she's in Pisces. Because then after that, it's going to be a whole new frequency, a different vibration. And I feel, again, this is the time to return to home and a time to get a deeper understanding of you and what your gifts are and what you're here to do, that deeper truth, that capital T truth. So, yeah, just some things to think about there, Cancer. And if you're curious about how these energies are working, if you're wanting to understand how to feel a bit more, how to work with your moon placement a little bit more, I'm available for readings. I have a link down in the description box below to book a consultation with me. We can talk about some of the things that you're wanting to look over and figure out what would be most appropriate for you. So if that's something that resonates with you, definitely check that out. And also, Cancer, these readings that I do, I think that's all I got to tell you. These readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for you. Oh, I could have been shuffling this whole time here, Cancer. So we're just going to do some shuffling here. And actually, I'm going to be switching how I'm doing the card draws a little bit. So first, we're going to pull from this oracle deck here, which is the Elemental Empath here, Cancer. Thanks. And, ooh, Cancer, I'm with it. So for your general energy of the day, you got the Unapologetic card here. Look at her doing a wild thing. And this is the card of Be Yourself, Release Societal Expectations, and Be a Mess. especially with the moon in Cancer, be a mess. This is a time you don't do your thing, Cancer. This is a time to just feel right now. I'm getting chills even just thinking about that. This is the time to do things that make you feel good. You want to dance around in your underwear, singing music at the top of your lungs, do that. If it's evoking something, do that. If you are tired of social, this is a time, let me be a little more serious with this one. With the releasing social expectations, I feel like this is a time, or this is an invitation with Cancer, to look at those old imprints. Look at those areas that tell you that you're less than, that you can't do this, that inner critic. And it's like looking at the source of where that's coming from. This, I feel, with this new moon in Cancer, because there is no light with this new moon, you really have to feel this one. I really think that this can be a great time for you to do this could be where you can working with maybe an astrologer, a coach, a therapist, someone to help kind of get down to the roots of stuff. And because I feel like maybe for some, and this could be a thing I feel that can come up for Cancer energy, where you've been told that you're too sensitive, or that you're too this, or that you're too that. I remember talking with a young Cancer. He has a lot of water in his chart, and he's just like, I know I'm really sensitive and stuff. And it's like, it's a problem. It's like, no, because those people who are telling you aren't to feel, they're a hot mess. And then that's no judgment. That's just what I've observed. We all go through those stages where we're a mess. I don't speak from a place that I got it all figured out. I'm messing it up with you, Cancer. And we got to be unapologetic about it. And I do feel like it is something that's getting all my Leo placements lit up. It is something we got to be unapologetic about. It's because it's just the honest truth. There are some days like, yeah, I'm getting this life figured out. There are other days like, F. Where's up? Where's north? And then it's when those times where you got to kind of come back to, when you don't know where north is, because then you've probably absorbed some stuff. Because you don't know what, again, because it's Cancer energy, you don't know what you're pulling from, and how long this has been ingrained and been working on. And so I feel too, as far as like, I'm getting almost like an energy, if you're wondering like how long this is going to take. I say it's releasing that expectations that, the societal expectations that you have to have it all figured out right now, that you have to have some semblance. I do feel like that, knowing that awareness that you can grow, that's something, to be aware of. But be yourself. Allow yourself. Everyone's growth is different. It took me, before I started actively doing stuff, I think probably at least a good 15 years. And that's not going to say, but it's like since starting on it, it's been like massive jumps. But it's everyone's journey, again, it's different in how this looks like. And so I feel like it's taking that pressure off, and just allow yourself, if you're feeling like crap, be in that, but understand it. Try to get to a place where, give it a safe space to process this energy. Again, affirmations can help, and the affirmations, I say this stuff, or like maybe guided meditations, for example, we're not putting blinders onto the problem. It's hard to find a solution when we're stuck in the mud. We have to kind of stand up, all covered in it, to see like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. But let's get some tarot on this. I'm busting out a different deck here. I don't think I've used this one on this channel or on any of the channels. It's the Archangel Power Tarot deck. It's pretty dope. So I got some like some intuitive guidance like right before to, just something that I was feeling. So I'm like, you know what? I switched this deck up. We're doing the draws a little bit different. So hopefully you like this for this season, or for this this season cycle. Alrighty, Cancer. Thanks, universe. Let's see what's going on here. Ooh, Cancer. Okay. So you have the Five of Raphael, which is the Five of Cups, the Seven of Ariel, and the Ace of Ariel, which I think is the Ace of Wands and Seven of Wands. And then you have the World here, which Archangel Michael. Look at Saturn coming through the mix. Let's start with the World, because with this card, they all have little things on at the bottom of these cards. And at the bottom of the World, this is a very happy ending, coming full circle, spiritual growth and insight. And what a lovely thing to happen during this new moon. I feel like that's exactly what's coming through here, Cancer. Something I feel that maybe has been off for a while is I feel like it's coming to. You know, it's like things that may have been confusing in the past. It's like you're going to get the peace to it's like you're getting that key, and I was talking about with Chiron earlier. Something is piecing together here, because this Ace of Ariel, let's talk about this one next. It says it's your lucky day. New resources of money, time, or support. A change in job or a promotion. So I like this with this. First, let's talk about the time and support, because that's what I feel like is coming in a lot right now. I'm getting a lot with that. Like this is a time I feel with this being a mess to create the space for you to be, but to allow others to receive that too. Do you feel safe or feel supported in being a mess? And if you don't, let's say this is with like a partnership, with a friendship, I feel like there's this energy of talking about this. And if something happens, let's say if they can't, you know, that's part of the journey. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. I hope that makes sense, because I'm getting some stuff here with the Five of Raphael. This is everything happens for a reason. Release regret and embrace the opportunities for happiness. Search for the silver lining. You know, I had a situation where, you know, a good friend of mine and I, we were both at just different places. It was always like a perfect storm, and things kind of fell apart. And it took me a while to kind of process that. You know, I said what I said in that, you know, when the situation happened, but to really kind of make peace with it, it took a little while. And there was a silver lining with that. I found this new sense of love. I found this, you know, this appreciation for friendships more. I've always appreciated, but it put a strike with, especially when something like long-term ends, that does make you look at things a lot differently. And it's just like, But I feel like something here, like I said, the world, whatever endings are coming through is coming to an end here. And let's get to this last card here, the Seven of Ariel. Because this is a card of you've invested wisely. Have patience and wait for the harvest. Review your progress and make plans for your next endeavor. And so while you're maybe processing through some things, you know, this area where you're being a mess, where we're processing maybe societal expectations and things, this feels like an energy of knowing that the decisions you've made into life, they've all been correct. You know, like, you know, sometimes, you know, we can be worried about making whether a choice is right or not. And we've all made a contract when we came into this realm that, you know, everything that is happening is for my highest good. And sometimes I feel in the experience, in the micro, we may not be able to see that. But it's as we move along that things start to make sense. Look at who you were compared to who you are now. And not to look at it from a place of higher than, but meet that place eye level. Like, see, like, I'm no longer this energy. You know, like, there are things that I've taken with me, but these parts that are here, they're done. You know, they're discarded here. And now it's time to, whatever's no longer moving, it's time to release that so that you can be yourself and move on to this whatever this next endeavor, this Ariel is. You know, something is coming. And I mean, even just thinking too, this is where society's kind of, I feel like she's a great energy, what she's giving off right now in this card. This is where I feel society is kind of moving. Even though there's still work that's needing to be done, there is a lot more freedom to be yourself. It's frowned upon to not. Everyone's looking to really have that sense of expression. So let's get some more on this, Cancer. All right, Cancer. Oh. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. Interesting. Okay. So you have the Nine of Raphael, the Nine of Michael, the Star card here, and the Sun card, Cancer. I'm with it. And let's talk about the Star card. Because this Archangel Jophiel, and this card is a dream come true. Believe in yourself, the end of a difficult situation. And so look at this. This Star card, this world energy, this is an invitation to look at where we're ready to close some things, where you're ready to do some healing. This Nine of Michael, your worry is unnecessary. Focus your thoughts on the outcome you desire. Release feelings of regret, guilt, or worry to your angels. I was reading something on, oh my gosh, I happened to wake up one day and I just had finished doing like that digital detox, and I just happened to check my phone, and it was like, oh, the astrology group that I was doing, they're doing like a new moon, Cancer new moon thing, and I was like, oh, cool, I'll join on that, and that was a whole experience. It was like this. The short story of this, I can go into a whole thing about that, but the short story is, this astrologer, I went to check out her website and was looking at some things, and I was looking at how she described one of these, like your solar return transits, because there's like this week, they got like a special of a week transits for free or something like that, and I was like, okay, I'll check this out. But there was this prayer she was talking about saying around your solar return, if you've been holding a lot of stuff. This could be a prayer of like, I release my burden, or at least this burden to God, or whatever you happen to, whatever that higher energy is. But it's not, again, this is not like ignoring the problem, but it is focusing on the outcome that you want. I could focus, like, for example, I could have, like, with my debts that I was working on, it's like I could just focus at, like, oh my gosh, I'll never pay this off. Or it's like, well, what can I do? I want this. And then I mean, it was just like I got two to clicks later, I'm on a phone call with someone who's helping me get my debt all settled. So, this Nine of Raphael here, this energy, let's talk about that next. Make a wish. Dreams become reality, a joyful time of life. This is a time to get in that vibration, to sense what you want, to get into that sunlight energy, this Archangel Uriel, because life is wonderful. Thrive through the power of positive thinking and and then it says in inspiring success. And, I think one of my favorite things when I'm working with someone's chart is, as they're telling their story, I picture it in my head. It's like I see like the notes lighting up. I see like the symbols, the glyphs are lighting up as they're playing certain stuff. And it's so beautiful to see how everyone is living through that vibration, especially when you can find a way to bring us down to an energy level. Just for a moment, it gets beyond the fact of I'm black, you're white, I'm in a masculine energy, you're female, or cis, or, non-binary. It gets beyond that. We're just all pictures of the universe. We're all an inspiring success. You've manifested. That is in itself is magic. And it's the power that you are. You've have the power to be. You just existed. And so that's where I feel this sunlight. This is you. bringing in this new dawn here, this new light. And it takes cycles to figure this stuff out, Cancer, but you know that, and that's why if you have any Cancer points, it's like there's something that, and I'm not putting anything on you, Cancer, keep that in mind, but I feel like it's like something that you can, if invited, you can feel that, you know. Let's get some advice from the moon, and I'm gonna pull from a different oracle deck here. This is the Healing Waters oracle deck. All right, last energy of Cancer. Oh, look at this, Cancer. All right, you got the Clear Waters card here. And actually, let's switch back over. Oh, let me see. Let's act like I'm prepared here. But you got the Clear Waters card here, Cancer, which is a card of clear vision, confirmation, right timing, and opportunity. So there's a lot of themes here, Cancer. This is the time, I feel like, to, again, be yourself. Allow yourself to understand who you really are, what you really want, what really lights you up. This is, you know, what I like about the sun going through Leo or through Cancer before he gets to his home sign of Leo is in Cancer, he finds himself again. This is where he finds inspiration in Cancer, because this is the time where you're at home, you're safe. You're safe to imagine. You're safe to be yourself. You're safe to express, to be a mess, for it to be messy as you're figuring this thing out. What society expects, how this journey can go, no one can tell you how to do your journey. You know, it's only you can do you. And I feel like this is the right timing. I feel like there is this, if you're wanting to feel this, I feel the guides are there. There's there's so much support, I feel, right now, especially in this cycle, just with things getting reset. And I know that there are of course other things that are going on in the world, but we don't have to. But I feel like just as, you know, paying attention there, yes, there are some really horrible things happening, but there's something that's coming to counteract that too. There are things that, because these things are happening, the light has to step up, you know, and it's shining brighter. And so this is an opportunity to, again, to come into a new sense of who you are, to get ready to shine bright in Leo, you know, once we get into more of that fire energy and just, all right, Cancer, but I think I'm going to leave that there. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this format. Yeah, I just kind of switched it up a little bit. It just kind of felt right. But if you like that, Cancer, if anything resonated with you, give this a thumbs up, share this if you know anyone who you think would resonate with this. And yeah, subscribe there, you star. Hit that bell button to get notified when I release videos each day. And then if you want to get information as far as like what's going on in the heavens, as far as like the celestial chit chat, if you come over to my other channel, Alchemist State, I do weekly videos talking about things outside of the moon. And I also do some videos where I'm releasing these. I actually just released my solar return video not too long ago. I did like a reflection video for that. I also do some videos where I talk about different planetary placements. Actually, this next one that I'm about to talk about is a Cancer placement. So pay attention if you have Mars in Cancer. I'm about to do that one. This is a little spoiler alert. I'm about to do that one next. So stay tuned for that. And those just kind of come out randomly. I just do whenever I feel like it. So stay tuned for those. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But instead of a surprise, well, I mean, it's still going to be a surprise, but I'm going to get you an Angel Oracle card. And these cards usually have different affirmations. They have different days of the week, crystals maybe you want to consider working with, things along those lines. So, all right. Thank you, universe. So you have the 42nd card here, which is Zephiel. I always love introducing these people. I feel like I don't quite do it as much justice as I could. Now, the energies here, now they usually have either some planets or different points or asteroids that are associated with them. And if I'm looking at this correctly, I gotta look, because some of these symbols I don't quite recognize. There's one here for Sedna, which is inner beauty and sees inside, and I love that. And Then the other one here, oh goodness. Oh, here we go. Is Psych, which is depth of soul identity. Oh, both of these are perfect for this new moon. With the Sedna energy, that inner beauty, that seeing inside, Cancer, you are beautiful. You are a reflection of, and if you even if you don't have Cancer placement, you're beautiful. You're beautiful on the inside and the outside. And I feel that this energy is inviting you to connect with that inner beauty, to connect with that inner light, and that psych energy, that depth of soul identity. This is knowing that part of you that is energy, that is love, that is light, that is going through a human experience, that is growing in this, that is going to make mistakes, but is also going to learn from them, and it's going to take as long or as short. Time is irrelevant in the higher realms. There's this, the concept is very different. You take as much time as you need. You are exactly where you need to be at this time in your life. Your divine timing all around. Now, Zephiel is an angel of contemplation. And she's about she raises the vibration. I'm with it, girl. Raise that vibration. She raises the vibration, emotional and spiritual growth, meditation, understanding, and confidence. Wonderful things. I feel like wonderful things to embrace. And and they also have little quotes here. And it says, "I provide insight to aid spiritual growth and help you find words to accurately express feelings, emotions, and ideas." And so that's perfect. If you're finding, or if you're having a hard time finding the words, look within, feel them first. Before this is, I feel like, a great time to, again, to give these emotions, especially emotions that you have trouble with, give them a deeper understanding, I love this. And you know what? There's some, like I was saying at the bottom, there's usually either some crystals to work with, a moment in time to think about, and just little tips and things, just little extra nuggets. But I'm not familiar with this one, but I'll have to look that up. But a crystal you may want to consider, if this so resonates with you, and I could, check into this, but Tanzanite, that might be something that if you have a relationship to that, if that's something that resonates, maybe just seeing what that information, what that resonance brings, and maybe it's inviting you to bring more of that vibration, not even necessarily just buying crystals, but bringing more of that vibration into your realm. So I'm gonna have to look that up. And now the moment it talks about is now moment. And so I feel like she gives me a very present moment in being in this state of higher vibration as often as you can, to sit in that frequency, to feel this sense of divine protection, divine timing. And then the last thing is meditate in that, steep in that, Cancer. Let yourself marinate in this rich, intuitive energy that we're in right now. This is a very nourishing, I feel, lunar cycle that we're in. I feel a bit, that world card, a very happy ending. The sun is here. I love that. The sun, the star, the world. This can be the end of an old chapter with the world and the beginning of something bigger and brighter. The star card becoming something much. And actually, while I'm talking about the star card, that astrology thing that I was talking about, little sidebar if you're curious about this stuff, and this is something that I'm getting ready to do a deep dive into, is working with the fixed stars. And she had mentioned that, and when I say she, her name's Lotta, Astro Lotta. She has a YouTube channel, brilliant astrologer, brilliant. And she was talking about the star Sirius and how that's happening on this point. And so this new moon is blessed by the brightest star. It's considered a brightest star of the sun. So, there's a lot of big stuff happening here, a lot of subtle things that are going on. So really kind of tune in there, Cancer. I'm excited. So, oh, and if you've had a birthday that just happened or one that's coming. Ooh, actually, Jamie, happy birthday! I hope you made it to the end. Happy birthday, Jamie! I think her birthday's on the 6th, and so yeah, if you have a birthday that comes up or if you have one coming up, happy birthday, happy birthday! Maybe you're getting ready to celebrate with me. My birthday's coming up here. I'll be talking about that on the next one, but I think that's all I got for you, Cancer. So stay mindful out there, stay grounded, stay present, Cancer. Tune into those emotions, connect with that light inside of you. It doesn't need a name. Like if you're not sure what to call it, it doesn't need a name. It doesn't mind. It doesn't mind. It knows what you mean. You feel that. And just really tune in, sync up with the moon, Cancer, because she's getting back on track. She's getting back into her natural flow again. These things are feeling in simpatico. And yeah, like Zephiel said, raise the vibration to the roof, Cancer, and I will catch you on the next one, Saturday.